If you take a look at this channel, you would see that most of the reading vlogs that I upload are themed reading vlogs where I pick a specific author or 3 specific books that I'm going to read in a video. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of a little tired of that. I think now as I've grown as a reader, I kind of want to read more of what I want to read. I want to be a little bit more of a mood reader. I have generally, for the most part, operated with more of a TBR than I kind of want to now. And I definitely think that has contributed to the book slump, kind of video slump that I've been in the past couple of months. So this week when I was standing at my bookshelves, like really thinking about what books I am gravitating towards, which books I want to pick up, I found that a lot of the books that I was wanting to reach for are books in a series. So I thought, oh, perfect. Why don't we work on finishing series I'm in the middle of this week? Because if you didn't know, I'm currently in the middle of 28 different book series with at least 22 series sitting on my shelf that I haven't even started. So far this year I've crossed 4 series off my list, but I think we need to get that number down a little bit more. So here are some of the books that I was finding myself gravitating towards. The other night I borrowed 2 books on Libby. Princess in Pink by Meg Cabot, which is the next book in the Princess Diaries series, and American Royals 2, Majesty, which is obviously the second book in the American Royal series. So I have those 2. I started reading Princess in Pink the other night, and so I'm about like 15% of the way through that one. I'm kind of thinking I maybe want to pick up A Court of Frost and Starlight. I was looking at my box set of The Naturals the other day and kind of maybe want to read Killer Instinct, which is the second book. Maybe I want to pick up Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams, which is the second book in the When in Rome series. Lots of options, got lots of series on my shelves and on my radar. Let's keep going. So it appears I haven't actually filmed anything for this video since I filmed the intro, but you wouldn't even know it because I haven't finished the first book I was reading anyways. I am still reading Majesty by Catherine McGee. I'm at 58% of the way through. It says I've got about 2 hours until I can finish it. I've got an hour and 45 minutes until I have to start getting ready. What do we think? Do we think I can finish it? Do we think I can beat the clock? I don't know. But I'm loving this view here. We just decorated for fall and Halloween, and so this is now my reading area, and I'm loving it. Let's read. I fell asleep, so I didn't get to finish the book. But people are finally getting good things. And a certain character in this book is finally getting what they deserve. And I'm just really happy for them. Even if that means their entire world is crashing down around them. It's what they deserve. So I finished Majesty by Catherine McGee and loved it, loved it. I love the American Royals series. Even though like it took me a while to finish reading it, like when I'm reading it, like I am into it. I am into the book. I feel like I've been in like a months long book slump where like when I'm not reading, I'm just like not even thinking about reading. And like, I don't really take the time to like sit down and read that often. But I've got like 30 minutes before my mom is gonna get home. So I'm gonna sit here. Oh, I started reading Rivals, which is the 3rd book in the American Royal series, because my Libby holds on those 2 books came in at like the same time. I am like almost 50% of the way through Rivals, I believe, and I'm definitely reading this one quicker than I did Majesty. In the last clip I said that like characters are getting what they deserve, and that same character is like maybe not the worst, which is really throwing me off because we've gone through 2 books of that character being the worst, and now that they're not, I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean that character is not the absolute worst person ever? No, but she's still the worst person ever. But just like all of a sudden now, like some of the other characters are like making excuses for her behavior. Like she, as a person, has not changed. She has not changed as a person. Yet for some reason, we're excusing her behavior. So like, how does that make sense? This vlog is so patchwork and choppy. I am sorry. But I finished reading Rivals and that book was not what I expected. There were certain characters who were kind of getting redemption arcs and I was like, wait a minute. What is happening? Out of the 3 books that I've read in this series, I would definitely say that Rivals left off on the most cliffhanger ending. I still say that series is just so intriguing. Anyways, I'm about to head out to the gym and I thought I'd just give you guys a quick update because when I go to the gym and I'm on the treadmill, I take my Kindle and my Kindle clicker and I read while I'm on the treadmill. I'm reading Princess in Pink by Meg Cabot, which is I think the 5th book in the Princess Diaries series. The last book that I read in the series, I believe, was Princess in Waiting, maybe? And I was waiting the whole book for it to make me laugh. I like to read these books anytime I'm like, need something a little bit lighthearted, anytime I like want to laugh at something. And the last book that I read, I was actually really disappointed in it because it just wasn't that funny. We have taken a turn for the better in Princess in Pink because I am finding it quite funny. Time to finish reading Princess in Pink. Finished reading Princess in Pink and it definitely was better than Princess in Waiting. I don't know what happened with that book, but I just really was not enjoying it. So I am so glad that like Princess in Pink redeemed itself in terms of like chronicle enjoyment. Now it is time to read the last book for this video, which is The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. This series has been on my in progress series tracker list the longest. Out of any other series that I'm in the middle of, this series is the one that's been there the longest. So this is just a book I've been putting off. This is one of those series where I bought the whole series. No, actually I was gifted the whole series before I'd even read the first book. And then I read the first book and just really didn't care for it. I read the first book, I read the second book, and have been putting off this book for over 2 years at this point. Let's hope I don't get too confused on this world and everything since it's been so long since I've been in the world of Elfheim. Later, I am on page 58 of The Queen of Nothing. Not gonna lie, it's taking me a little bit longer to read that many pages than I thought I was going to. I was hoping to finish this tonight. I'm not staying up that late, but it's only 10:17, so I'm gonna set a timer for an hour and we're gonna see how long I can read because that's as much as I'm gonna read tonight. I'm currently on page 58, so if I make it to page 118, I'd call that a successful reading sprint. It's the next morning. I did not make it to the end of the 1 hour timer yesterday. I made it to about 45 minutes and then gave up. Okay, why is there hair in my eyeball? But I did read the 60 pages. I'm gonna set another timer for an hour and see how much I can read. $4.99 of Queen of Nothing. I'm getting a little bit more into it, figuring out a bit more of the stuff that happened in the first two books. Dudes, I'm still not sure about this romance. I remember when I read the first book being so mad because I was told that this series was a romantasy. I highly disagree. Highly disagree. And here we are in book 3, and I'm like, that's all I have to say for now. I have finished Queen of Nothing. Finally. I say finally, even though I started this book yesterday. Let's do a little rundown of my final thoughts on all these books, because I don't think I did a very good job of updating you guys on my thoughts while I was actually reading them. The first book I read was Majesty, which is the second book in the American Royal series by Catherine McGee. And I could say in this book, I was just as intrigued, just as hooked as I was in the first book, which I was very glad about because I had very low expectations for the first book and it's way surpassed them. So of course then my expectations were even higher and I was worried that this book was maybe not going to meet those expectations, but they did. It did. I was very happy because one of the characters that I really did not like in the first book was finally getting what was coming to them. So imagine my surprise when I start the second book, Rivals, and the story arc is kind of changing and maybe that character is getting a bit of a redemption arc and maybe some of my favorite characters are showing kindness to this particular character and I'm like, wait a minute, what? I don't like them. Why are you now trying to make them a little bit more likable? I gave both books a 4 stars though. I would say this series is probably the only series that I've ever read that's in as many POVs as it is. This series has been written in 4 different point of views. With the book being written in that many points of view, it's actually really easy to keep track of whose point of view you're actually reading in, which I would say is kind of impressive. I gave both books a 4-star and I'm currently kicking myself that I do not have a copy of the last book in this series right now. Because the cliffhanger at the end of Rivals, I'm sorry, are you kidding me? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Then I read Princess in Pink, and I'm pretty sure I said it in this video, but I low-key had very low hopes for this book. The first 3 books that I read, I loved them. I had such a fun time reading them. They were so funny, so unhinged. Like, I was actually laughing out loud at them. And then I read Princess in Waiting, book 4, and was very severely disappointed with that book. I really just didn't enjoy it. I didn't find it very funny. So when it came to this book, I was like, oh, what if it's like the last one? It wasn't. I actually found it very funny. Again, a little redemption arc for this series, if you will. I gave this book a 3 stars because I finally found it funny again. And then the final book that I read for this video was Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. This is the final book in the Folk of the Air trilogy, the Cruel Prince trilogy, if you will. I have to say, I will not be reading any of the other books that take place in the world of Elfhame. This was one of those series I was gifted all 3 of them before I'd even read the first one. I remember reading the first one several years ago and being told that it was a romantasy. It's not. In my opinion, much more of a fantasy with a very, 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 very tiny romance subplot. If you can even call it that, because honestly, I went through 3 books of this and I never got any of the chemistry between the supposed couple. They never really showed that they liked each other. They never even really said they liked each other. Yet somehow they liked each other. My problems with this book was probably mostly my fault because I waited so long between reading the first 2 books in the trilogy and this one. I didn't enjoy this book enough to go back and give the other books a second chance. But I gave this book a 2.75 stars. I thought a lot of the stuff that was happening in this book was kind of dumb. A lot of the characters in this book were kind of dumb. The main character especially, there were 2 very prominent points in this plot where it was like, dude, you're an idiot. Or should I say, Jude, you're an idiot, because that is her name. I would have thought you were a little bit smarter than that. But apparently I was wrong. However, the good thing that came out of me reading this is I can finally cross the Folk of the Air trilogy off of my series in progress list. Because like I said, I think this series had been on my in progress list like the longest out of all of the series. So that was my attempt to finish more series. I'm not gonna lie, the temptation to add more series to my in progress list, it grows every day. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to last. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give a thumbs up to let me know that you enjoy this type of content. Comment down below how many series you're currently in the middle of reading. And subscribe to my channel for more bookish content in the future. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!